corporate life. It's not for everybody. Some people thrive on it and they absolutely love it. I'm almost jealous of that to a certain extent, but it wasn't for me. I kept pursuing ambitious goals, whether it's a big project or going to get my MBA at Xavier, and then having kids, and then there was no goal in sight. I'm like, okay, so what's next? This can't be it, right? This can't be it.
That's a tough thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what you said was some people thrive and they love it, but if that thought occurs to you, this can't be it.
Yeah.
It's going to cause problems.
Yeah. I mean, it's a position of privilege. I'll just acknowledge that, because it's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where you have all your base needs met, and then you start thinking about things like, giving back to the community or creative fulfillment. That's a good spot to be in. Mm-hmm. So I feel weird complaining about it, right? But it's just like, I got to do something more creatively fulfilling. I got to get out of this, right? Mm-hmm. I would be sitting in a conference room in GE's North Point building at Union Center, and a conference room called like Productivity Excellence or something, right? And some meeting I didn't really care about, looking out the window, and there's like a cemetery beyond the parking lot.
That's an awesome day, man.
Yeah.
You're having that thought. You're in the meeting you don't want to be in with the name of the conference room, and you look out and there's a cemetery. And the cemetery is the most profound thing to you.
Yeah. It's like, is this it? Is this it? No, and it sounds really dark. It sounds depressing and discouraging. It's just me as an individual. I was just discontent. Like, I got to do something else. And I even fell into the career of IT just because it was sort of convenient, right? And made decent money and stuff. But at my heart, I love creating things. So I'm like, I got to scratch that itch and start doing that.
IT's kind of an engineering field.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem too creative. And I do like some of my IT folks that are around me, but you fall into a place as you start to you start to climb the ladder. It's not too creative.
I mean, it can be. You are creating things. You are creating apps. You're creating, things that can be cool. But when you're in the corporate environment too, it's like you're filling out workflows and attending tollgate meetings and being told no all the time.
There's some walls around you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to do something else.
Yeah, and but that decade, the evolution that happened to you in those 10 years, how important was that?
Essential. I mean, essential. Like, I have no regrets, none really. And when I was in the leadership program, I wanted to do my MBA. I'm like, well, you got to finish the leadership program first. And I talked to the guy who was running the program. I'm like, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it because I'm about to have kids. So I was going to grad school at night, doing that leadership program. Halfway through, my daughter was born. I was teaching at UC.
How tough was all that?
It was just brutal.
Yeah.
But it hardened me to a certain type of work ethic that, continues to this day. After I finished all of that, I'd have free time and I'd be like bored, like, let's do some stuff.
So what's the word balance mean to you?
Oh, man. Well, balance is important. Balance is important. I say this all the time, but consistency, not intensity. So it's like getting a little bit done each day. That's a theme I always come back to. So balance is important. Mm-hmm. Balance is important, especially when you have kids.
I'm sure, right? Yeah. So I don't have any. So, but I talk to a lot of people who do, and I have nieces and nephews. I get to look at it from 10,000 feet. I've got all the answers.
Yeah. You can swing in and give them a candy bar and be a hero, and then
or say, don't give them the candy bar. That was a bad move, and then everybody looks back and say, stop telling me how to parent.
The unsolicited parenting advice. Everybody loves it,
right? It's awesome. So what was the final? Doesn't have to be a breaking point, but what was the final decision? So you have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're a decade into a GE because you almost are at a place where you almost have the golden handcuffs wrapped around you.
Yeah.
Right? Almost. Retirement. What that looks like. Because if you stay there, sometime between 55 and 60, if you're at a GE or a P&G or a Kroger, if you do that, like, your retirement life's going to kind of be easy if you can just stay there for 25 or 30 years.
Oh, man, there's a lot there. I became a bit of a personal finance nerd. So we'll talk about that too, because I think the golden handcuff scenario is a bit of a, you can get locked into a certain lifestyle when you're climbing the corporate ladder, and you get a 10% raise and you increase your standard of living 10%, right? And you continue to do that forever and ever, then you're stuck. You're stuck. So when I realized I wanted to do something else, I acknowledged that, and I went down this personal finance rabbit hole into this sort of niche world of extreme early retirement. And the definition of retirement there is a little different than you may be used to. But it involved basically living way below your means, saving and investing in order to purchase your own freedom at some point. Basically, retire, be able to pursue whatever professional life that you're passionate about rather than, just like laying around watching TV, whatever.
Do you feel like, we'll get right back, but do you feel like you've achieved that?
Thanks to my wife, because she's a boss, she's the best, and she's got a great job. So,
but it's a team. But
technically, no, I'm not like financially retired, but it definitely feels like that because I'm getting to do what I want to do rather than waking up in the morning and feeling like I'm forced to go do this thing that I don't really want to do because I have XYZ bills to pay. Right.
That's when I talk about financial freedom. That's the part.
Mm-hmm.
Financial freedom doesn't also say wealthy.
Yeah.
Financial freedom means the handcuffs are off, and you've put yourself in a spot where you can make some decisions that a lot of other people feel like they can't.
Exactly.
Right? And so we go back. You're doing this deep dive on, personal financial independence or whatever we call it.
Yep.
What's so that causes some different type of thinking.
Yeah, and it's long-term thinking too, right? It's like you mentioned, like what's the breaking point? What's the moment? There's no one moment. It was definitely a lot of foresight to like, I want to make this happen. I'm going to make it happen year after year after year, planning for it. I told my wife, like, I can't do this job anymore. I want to do something more creative. And she's like, well, you can't just quit. You need like a plan. So we came up with a 5-year corporate escape plan. And the financial stuff is part of that. But it's like, learn how to write content. Learn how to create comedic content, get published, freelance, get a freelance job regular, and then then make the transition.
So that's 5 years of intentionality.
Yeah.
Right?
5 years, yep.
Every day.
Yep.
Every week.
Yeah.
Right?
Every day, for sure.
What'd that feel like as you're going through it? Did it feel freeing that you were in the midst of the process, that you knew you had a destination and a goal, or did it feel like a tough grind?
No, I mean, it was a lot of work, for sure, but it was fun because it was the thing that I wanted to do. It would feel like tough work and a grind if it was like, my 5-year goal is to be like a CPA or something. And every night I'm going to do a little bit of accounting because that would just be terrible. I would hate it. But no, I was like, writing funny jokes on Twitter, like making memes and stuff. Like, no, it was great.
And having half the people hate you and half of them love you.
Yeah, maybe.
That's an old brand.
Yeah.
It's X now.
Oh, X, right. Yeah. Not Twitter.